Hey, this is Patrick with Trusty Huckster Mercantile. It's been a while. Welcome back to my channel. I have been a little busy. Life has gotten in the way. The community theater has returned. I'm currently in rehearsals for yet another show. I will be playing Wadsworth in community theater production of Clue on Stage, which is based on Clue the movie, one of my favorite movies of all time. So I'm really excited to do that. And while I'm enjoying that, it's making it a little bit harder to keep up with my Trusty Huckster Mercantile channel. So I decided to take this opportunity to host another drop sale shop hop, and had a few people, a few other resellers agree to participate with me. So if you are watching this on Sunday, June 26th, you are watching this as part of the drop sale shop hop. If you're watching things in order, I'm partway into the evening. The evening began with Dolores at Miss DAM Jewelry. She started at 5 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, and then she moved, I would have to look at my notes here, to Mimi's Treasure Cottage. Cindy was at 5:30. Miss Pamela, Oak Grove Mercantile, she was at 6. You are now watching me, possibly at the 6:30 Eastern time slot, which is when mine goes live. And then following my slot, again, this is a shorter shop hop. The 5th participant in the sale is Beth at Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties. So when you finish this channel or finish this sale, you can hop over to Beth's sale and catch hers as it goes live following mine. So I'm starting out my shop hop or my drop sale for the shop hop with items. I'm kind of separating it into 2 sections of my sale because the other part that causes me to take some time is invoicing. Some of the items and what I'll be starting with are items where shipping is included. So if you are based within the United States, all of the items here will either be first class, almost all of them are first class U.S. Postal Service. In one case, it will be a media mail. So the price that I give you in these initial batches will include shipping. I will then have some other items later in the sale, which will be the items cost plus shipping, which is the way it normally is. If you've never purchased from me before, if you are successful at claiming an item, I will tell you the item. I would describe the item. I will give you the item's price. That is the price you will pay, either with or without shipping, depending on which item we're talking about. You will need to send me an email at thmvintage@gmail.com. That email and all of these instructions will be in the description of my video. Once you send me an email so I know where I am shipping to, if necessary, I will calculate the shipping cost for anything that needs shipping, send you the invoice. Once you pay that invoice, I ship you the item. So I hope you enjoy the shop hop and you enjoy the items that all of the resellers who are participating, myself included, have available to offer. So starting out of the gate, I'm starting with some ephemera, again, because it's relatively easy to ship. I have this really sweet vintage wedding card. So this says to the bride and groom. There's a little color illustration on the front. It has what I'm going to assume is the original ribbon. It's probably was white once upon a time. Now it's a little bit more ecru, but it just kind of adds to the vintageness. Nothing really on the back, so there's no copyright, no maker's mark, anything like that. I don't know when they started doing that in the world of greeting cards. What is kind of cool about this is a little bit different, is it effectively is a cardboard cover, and then there is the paper insert that is inside that actually has the wedding message included. So you can see the ribbon goes all the way through, and that's actually what attaches the insert into the card. So the outside's a little bit heavier stock. The inside it's actually probably a little heavier than like regular copy paper, but it's not as heavy as the outside. So it says, to the bride and groom. Open it up, it says, here's to the bridegroom, and here's to the bride. Congratulations are due. And here is a wish, now the knot has been tied, for a long life of happiness too. And it was sent and signed by the gang. You can see at the bottom in quotes and everything. It does appear that the gang was signed in pencil, so push comes to shove, you probably can erase that if you wanted to reuse it. I'm keeping it in there because I thought it was kind of cool, that this is how it was sent and that somebody had saved it. There's a little bit of discoloring you got from where the ribbon crossed up against the paper. just adds to its absolutely gorgeous vintage nature. Would look great in just an ephemera collection, or if you know someone getting married, they might even appreciate an actual vintage wedding card. So this wedding card is available. Again, this price will include shipping. It is $8, including shipping, by giving me number 34. Vintage wedding card, $8, number 34. The next item, I've actually thought I had sold out of all of these, and then I found some. So I'm adding these. I think I did end up doing maybe a deep dive, maybe a duo dive with Katie, I can't remember, but where we talked about Notgeld. So what Notgeld is it was created at the time following World War I, primarily in Germany, also Austria, where metal was at a premium. There was metal shortages. So they took items that normally would have been coinage. This one is 50 pfennigs. Kind of equate a pfennig as a penny. Like a pfennig to a mark is kind of like a penny is to a dollar. So this would have been coinage. They didn't have any metal. So they printed these absolutely beautiful works of art that indicated that they are not gold. They're not geld. They're not metal. And they have information on them that states when you can turn these in. So this one says December of 1921, you could take this to the bank and you could turn this 50 pfennig paper into a 50 pfennig coin, because they were anticipating by then they would have coins. So I have Notgeld of 50 pfennig. They were usually done by town. This one is De Jongversteig. I think that's the name of the town. I don't have my little translator with me, so I'm not 100% sure on this one. Although it does also say Hamburg on the back. So this might have been Hamburg, and that's some sort of other instruction. And then this one is 25 pfennig. See, there's totally different coloration on this one, because this one was for the city of, I think, Mainz. Notgeld der Stadt Mainz, M-A-I-N-Z. Mainz. I apologize, I'm not 100% sure the German pronunciation on these. So again, they are just paper representations, but because they thought it was a short-term thing, they made beautiful artwork on them. And in some cases, these were never technically circulated. They were almost like IOUs from a bank to say, you're going to hold on to this until after 1921, and then you'll be able to turn it in for coinage. Unfortunately, what happened in around 1922 and 1923 was the series of hyperinflation, and where a loaf of bread in 1921 may have only cost a few marks. Literally by 1923, it was costing millions of marks. The inflation was so high. So this butts up to that. So you have these, and the way you can tell the difference, usually, again, there's dates on them. The Mainz one also has 1921 on it. But you can usually tell by the value. Again, this is 25 pfennig, you can see off on the side. When you get into the hyperinflation currency, you literally have paper currency that says 500,000, 1 million marks, not pfennigs. So a very specific point in time, it's post-war, so you don't want to say it's a quaint point in time, but it is a very distinct point in time that really did create even if you don't collect currency from the idea of the ephemera, these look beautiful framed. So, small frames with a solid color mat board behind it. Hang these on a small wall in a hallway, in a washroom. They're just interesting to look at, beautiful colors, and these again are being priced with shipping included, because they'll just be mailed in a basically a note card for $10. So a pair of Notgeld for $10 by giving me number 7. The next item is a series of postcards. These are, I did a duo dive, maybe it was a deep dive on World Fairs. These cards are from the 1933 Chicago World's Fair. And so these are all items they were all buildings that took part, that were part of the World's Fair. Now, none of these postcards have been actually postmarked. So these are really, again, just kind of little almost snapshots, although they're illustrations of a very specific time for a World's Fair that only lasted about a year. 1933 was the century of progress for Chicago, because Chicago was founded in 1833. And they did have some attempts at some modern buildings. I mean, that transportation building with all the towers in it. We have the Enchanted Island illustration there. This one was the Hall of Science at the Chicago World's Fair. And again, the Chicago World's Fair was right on Lake Michigan, unlike the 1893 was kind of inland a little bit. It was still kind of like the water, it was like water adjacent, but these were right on the water. So again, some great architecture, some great, the shape of those trucks. We're in between the wars, 1933. We're trying to get out of the Depression. So a lot of money was spent to say how great was the industry in Chicago. This was the Avenue of Flags. It looks like the Sears logo is on that tower behind one of the flags. So you've got that. The Colonial Village. And, well, this may no longer be considered politically correct. Little Person Village. So you've got, not even sure what that looks, kind of like a German village. Not sure. Kaufman Fabry photo. That's who took the photo and colorized it. So I thought these were illustrations, but I guess technically they're photos, just been colorized. And again, none of them are postmarked. So this is a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 postcards for the 1933 World's Fair, postage included. These will all be put into an envelope. I will not be mailing them as postcards. So they are in very good condition. The corners are all very clean. They're not been smashed or anything down. I picked them up. They were all sealed up in paper. So I think they were like that for quite some time. $10 for the set of 8, which includes the shipping cost. You get that by giving me number 81. 8 cards for $10, including shipping, by giving me number 81. These are Valentine's cards. They're just of a different style. So this one, I really do not know how to date these. I'm thinking this is kind of a 20s or 30s. So you got a Valentine to my sweetheart. And you got the text on the inside. I never knew we're so bright till... A Valentine to my sweetheart. I never knew days were so bright till I met you, so full of laughter and delight till I met you. But now I know how life can shine with happiness for sweetheart mine. You see, I found my Valentine when I met you. And it says on here in the upper corner, I guess Tom didn't want to commit. In a tiny little corner, it says from Tom to Marie, maybe? So like way off in the corner. So there's nothing actually on the text. The cover is absolutely beautiful. Just look at the little detail of all the little circle art kind of creating, and it kind of creates the outline, the top of a heart. Just the black, I do find it interesting that the background of the heart is black, but it's still got some pretty colors in there as well. So again, I'm not 100% sure how to date this. I do think this is pre-World War II. And like I said, I think this might be going to 20s or 30s, but I do not know. There's nothing on here. On the back, there's a little bit of color. You can kind of see the way it was made. There's a little bit of an edge. That may have been where somebody was pricing it previously, but there's no copyright. There's no manufacturer. There's no way to tell, who made this or when it was made. So it kind of has an estimate. So you get this Valentine, and then in addition to this, you're getting 2 of these. You also have my thoughts are all of thee. And so this one is a die cut Valentine, has, I guess that's a boy, although I was gonna say it has 2 girls, but I think that might be a boy based on the cut of the jacket. So I'm not sure again what era this is trying to represent or what that is in the background. Looks like a sailing ship. Not sure like if this is like a Mediterranean coast. I'm not 100% sure on this one. You got the hearts on the top, got a nice, the powder blue background, the kind of a greenish color of the leaves going around the edge. And it is embossed. You can see on the back that is embossed, but it is just a solid piece. It's not a flap. It says Lucy Bush is the name that's written on the back. Again, nothing on here to indicate copyright, age. I do think there's some age to it. It was at one point folded, so there's a little bit of wear and a tiny, tiny, tiny tear right there. And based on that, it just seems a little bit more fragile there, that happened a long time ago. So I want to say that there's some age to this, but I really don't know. So this one, I'm almost positive there's age to, I just don't know what age. And this one, I'm not 100% sure, but I do think there is age. So I'm just going to package them in a way that I think will make them attractive to have ephemera Valentine's cards. $8 for the pair, including shipping. You get $8 by giving me number 33. Next item I've got here in the little stack, this also is including a package that includes shipping. This is the return of my mini mystery packs. There is some ephemera in here. There are some smalls in here, nothing breakable. But there's going to be, I think this one has 16 or 17 items in it that mix it between ephemera, all vintage, and just kind of a fun mix. Been doing these for a while. People were giving them as gifts. I pre-made a bunch of them, and I think this is the last one that I had pre-made. So at this point, I'm only offering the one. If we get a bunch of people who are interested, I can probably make more. But for now, we're offering a mini mystery pack, as they always have been. They're $15. That $15 includes first class shipping. And you get this one. If you only just get the one, this is the one you're gonna get. But if you more people want them, they're all similarly built. So it's $15 by giving me number 93. The next item is a set of vintage magazines. I guess they'd be considered magazines. They're called Household, which I had never heard of. And I'll show you the magazines themselves. They're somewhat large format. So this one is June of 1945. Check out the wartime shoulder pads and hat on the makeup ad on the back. Similarly, we have a November 1945. This one is, November 1945. So this is Furniture Magic with paint and saw. So you can see there's kind of a military theme to this one as well, because the war is ending. This would have been printed around October. So this was November of 1945. So things were wrapping up at that point. The messaging on the back is probably an older ad. It says the Marines are landing and everything's out of hand. You get the messaging from the Crossley company with their appliances. When I forgot to grab the third. It stayed on the table. So then this one is April 1946. So the war has actually just ended. So there's some guard instructions on there. Another beautiful makeup ad in the back. And all of the ads in these, you get some that are color. So you get a color ad on the back cover. You get some color ads in the middle. So you get an ad for Del Monte peas. This is home furnishing, plotting, they did that back in the old days, even before computers. They pulled out their graph paper and plotted out their furniture plan. This is the Kelvinator refrigerator ad. So those are just a handful of ads, and that was the 46 one. In the November, there's a Great Gaines dog food ad. And where are the color ads in this one? Inside front cover is Hot Point Electric Kitchens. So you can check that out. Inside back cover is also another colored ad. And it is a nutritious Nucoa, which does not sound nutritious at all. It is oleomargarine. Nucoa. And in the other one is the Kelvinator ad on the inside front cover. The inside back cover, love that makeup ad, is a Frigidaire by General Motors with a little Scotty dog. So you've got Little Brown Cocoa and the Webster family. So this is just, it's kind of a women's magazine, household magazine. There's recipes, how to make your favorite salad, save fruit and sugar with Sure Gel, every inch of purebred. This is a Great Dane doing the Gaines ad, the Gaines dog food ad. So Sure Gel gelatin, foolproof jelly and jam, 17 vines for 17 places, how to plant vines. Every child is musical, and house plans for a house you can afford, because the war is coming to an end, so they figured people are going to start building homes again. It is a set of these 3 household magazines. All of them, the spines are still in place. This one, the front cover had a little piece kind of torn or cut off of it, but in general, they're all very good condition. And these, again, will be shipped to you with postage included. All 3 of them you will receive for $15. So $15 for the set of 3 household magazines. And the last item I'm going to include for the postage included section is actually fairly large. This is the one that's going to be going media mail because it is a 6-pound book. But if you recognize the artwork on the cover, you know what this is. And the reason it's so big and heavy is because it is all of the Saturday Evening Post covers of Norman Rockwell. So Norman Rockwell 332 magazine covers. So inside is full page, full color cover, or the art of all of his covers. And now what these are is the art, not the actual cover. So they don't say Saturday Evening Post. They just have what the original, so the kid giving medicine to the puppy was called Bedside Manner and did that on the Post in 1923. So it tells you which cover it went on to, but the artwork is not modified to show, sometimes the banner covers or the text would cover it up. So this is Lost Battalion, which was in the Literary Digest of 1919, and Planning the Home was Literary Digest from 1920. There's some close-ups, showing how some of the art was done. There's some articles that talk about, or I guess they're kind of articles that just talk about his art and talk about his drawing. Unfortunately, I don't have the dust jacket for this. So that does hurt the price on this one because these do sell on eBay actually fairly regularly because a lot of people know Norman Rockwell. I grew up on Norman Rockwell. My college education was supposed to be paid for by Norman Rockwell collector's plates. Yeah, it didn't happen. But it's very distinctive art, something that I saw the minute I saw the cover, I knew who this was about. And when I saw all the art, there was just a level of nostalgia that kicked in that I'm kind of like, this is kind of cool to have all of his covers in one place. I've skimmed through it. There was definitely some art in here I did not recognize because it wasn't put on a plate or into a collectible figurine. I probably hadn't seen it. So it was kind of cool, but I have no interest in keeping this for myself, so I am passing it on. So this is a case that it can be shipped media mail without cheating the system at all. So I already calculated what that'll cost me. So for $20, this will be shipped to you media mail, cost included. So $20 includes the shipping by giving me number 66. So these other items that I will be offering will be plus shipping. First thing I'm going to show you is an item. There will be more of these coming. I'm only throwing one into the sale right now because right now it's the only one that I have that's clean. The last show that I did was Arsenic and Old Lace. I was responsible for both props and set dressing, and I ended up collecting about a dozen pieces of linen that we ended up using through the show. So this is roughly 34 by 34. See, it was a piece of linen that the edges were pulled out of, but you can see there's the black stitching that goes all the way around to keep it from fraying beyond that point. It is identically designed in all four corners, have these little basket needle pointed into them, and they were done by hand. And the trick to tell what was done by hand versus machine is when you flip it back to the side. So you can see, particularly in the flowers, this was pretty messy. So they carried a lot of stitches, they connected a lot of things. Nothing wrong with that. It's just a good indication that this was done by hand. If it was done by machine, which I do have some I'll be selling later that were done by machine, when you flip it to the back looks almost as good as the front, and it's because a machine was tying off all the knots and making it super clean. This one was, probably just made while somebody's listening to the radio or whatever of that era. But again, all four corners have the little basket of flowers. It is 34 by 34, so it's not by itself designed to be much of a full tablecloth. It is simply a table cover. We used it on a 36 by 36 round table that had a tablecloth under it, and then this dropped onto the top of that off the four corners. It looked beautiful. We got amazing compliments every night about how great the set dressing was. And this one is also nice because there is no design in the middle. So if you want to put a centerpiece, you're not actually blocking any level of the design. So whether this was for your bridge table, for having the pastor over for coffee after church, it was a simple cover that you could then lift off and then have either the clean table underneath or another tablecloth, like a lace one underneath. Beautiful piece. It is not heavy. It'll be under a pound, but it will be beyond the limits of a first class shipping. So it'll be first class parcel. So it is based on where you live. So this one will be $15 plus shipping, but for the 34 by 34 square table cover, it is $15 is number 56. So again, $15 plus shipping for the table cover. Next item also will need to be in a padded mailer, and padded mailers need additional postage. This is I had the World's Fair postcards earlier. Now I have the World's Fair of 1933, the hot pad. So it is simply a aluminum covered, aluminum finish hot pad that has the embossed designs of buildings from the Century of Progress World's Fair. It's a very cool piece. Has some pretty cool buildings on there, some great age. We're not quite at the official level of antique, but you've got something that was made in 1933. So you have a really nice piece of history. It just looks cool, even it's just a regular mid-century modern home. Having this as a functional hot pad underneath any of your cooking, even though it might be from 33, just think of how this aluminum finish is going to look holding up any of your hot dishes on your century table. So this is a octagonal hot pad from the 1933 World's Fair. It is $10, and this will be $10 plus shipping, and you can get that by giving me number 85. $10, number 85 for the World's Fair hot pad plus 1933 hot pad, $10 plus shipping. The next item I found I thought was very cool, and I do not 100% know. Not necessarily now I don't know what it is. I'm not an idiot. I can figure out what it is, but just the era that it was made. So I'm going to start you with the back. So you get something that looks like a celluloid button. Obviously, I'm going to say what apparently looks like a wedding portrait of some kind. His hair is doing something a little weird, looking like a little bit of a hat, but it's not a hat. This is hair. Bow tie with a tab collar. She's got the hat. It's got a little bit of a poof to her shoulder pads, but I'm thinking like this might be a 30s. I don't think we're quite into the 40s. This might be a wedding picture from the 30s that was turned into a mirror. So it's just like we can watch ourselves here. So there's a little bit of, you can see the finish on the edges of the mirror. There's a little bit of darkness there. I'm trying not to reflect the rest of my home. So that's kind of all the edges. It's a totally functional mirror, as you can see how much it's reflecting. But it's like I said, it's like a button that just has a mirror back instead of a pin back. So clearly this was used as a lady's compact, maybe in a lady's purse, but I don't know how common these were, because I don't know if there would have been a case, because it just seems if the mirror is exposed, it would get scratched in a lady's handbag. It's very small, I guess not much smaller than a compact, but it's not like it was snapped out of a compact. It seems free-for-all. So I don't know if these might have been gifts, maybe takeaways for members of the wedding party, or maybe for guests. I don't know. I don't know if that was common back then. So I just thought this was kind of cool. It's a beautiful couple, again, looking like a wedding day portrait, which I just think is super cool. Clearly has some age to it. And then you've got the functionality that you actually have a mirror that if you wanted to use this, if you pull it out to check your makeup or, whatever, make sure your nose hairs are clean. People see it and wonder, hey, where did you get that? That's like no one else is going to have something like this, because even if they have another button, I said celluloid earlier, I don't want to misconstrue. I don't know how to tell if this is celluloid, but if they see something like that, they're not going to have this couple. So I don't know how common these are. I don't know, but I got it at a pretty good price, so I'm passing it on at a good price. It is $10 plus shipping by giving me number 35. $10 plus shipping for the little mirror for the married couple, little pocket mirror. And that is all. So that is my quick drop sale for the Shop Hop. I hope you've enjoyed it. The next one that you can watch coming up that technically would be live, although it's not live, just as it becomes available, will be Beth from Carolina Princess Sweet Treats and Pretties. So again, all the instructions for how to claim were in the description. Thank you so much for participating in hopefully the entire participation of the Shop Hop. And regardless whether you did or did not, I appreciate you watching this video, and I thank you for giving me your time and putting your trust in Trusty Huckster. I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.